at the stars at night and wonder what all else is up there? We know about so many cool things, such as stars, of course, planets, the sun, comets, but there's so much more about outer space that humans just don't know anything about. In fact, scientists say that we only know of about 4% of what we think all of space is. That means that at least 96% of space is completely unknown. One person who really helped progress our current understanding of space is Dr. Mae Jemison. She was the first Black woman to ever travel into space, the first Black woman to ever be an astronaut. She says that as a kid, she always knew she loved science. She would spend as much free time as possible in the library reading about scientific findings. However, she soon noticed that there weren't any astronauts at the time that looked like her. Before becoming an astronaut, she actually was a doctor and was hired by NASA to look at the effects of space on cells. In 1992, she traveled to space for the first time in the Space Shuttle Endeavour. Nowadays, Dr. Mae Jemison is a professor, a teacher, and really likes teaching kids just like you about how cool science is. So now that we know a little bit about a really cool superstar space scientist, Dr. Mae Jemison, let's do a really awesome science experiment on a cool part of space, comets. What even are comets? Comets are giant cosmic snowballs. They're made out of balls of ice mixed together with space dust. Space dust is full of tiny particles like sand, dirt, rocks, and all of this space dust mixed with the ice forms our comet. Now, what happens when ice gets close to something hot? Do you know? That's right, it melts. This melting, when a comet gets close to something like the sun that's really hot, causes the space dust part of the comet to float out into outer space. And that forms the comet's tail that we see when we look at a comet from Earth with a telescope. We are gonna need a few supplies. You'll need a bowl of dirt, a spoon, some water, an extra bowl, and some ice. And finally, I'd get something like a plastic plate or tray, something to work on so that you don't get your house all dirty. Now, to get started, take your bowl of ice and the dirt and go ahead and pull the dirt into the bowl of ice. You can also use sand if you have sand, but I didn't have any, so I just grabbed some dirt from the backyard. Pour it all in, and then take your spoon and mix up the ice and dirt. Keep mixing until the ice and dirt are really well together. Do you notice how the dirt particles are sticking onto the ice? Once everything is nice and mixed up, take a little bit of water and pour it in to cover the ice. We want our ice to kind of stick together, and this extra water will help it do that. You might want to mix it a little more once you got this water in. Some of the dirt might have been washed off the ice. And you want the water to pretty much cover your ice, so pour in a little more if needed. And then now that we have everything all mixed up, we're gonna take our comet mixture and put it in the freezer for about an hour. Now that our comet mixture is completely frozen, hard like a rock, get out your extra bowl again and your working space. I'm using a plate. And then you'll also need some warm water. I just heated some in a microwavable dish for about 30 seconds. And take your spare bowl and pour the water about halfway to the top of the bowl. You don't want to fill it too much because we don't want it to overflow with this next step when we take our frozen comet and stick it into the water. We're basically doing this so that the frozen ice loosens a little bit so that we can get our comet out of the bowl. So you'll need to wait a couple seconds, And then, once it's sloshy enough that you can kind of move it around, we can move our water out of the way and then flip the bowl upside down on our workspace. Again, be sure you're working on something that can get a little messy because some of the dirt might fall out. And here we have it. This is what a comet looks like. So you have all of the dirt particles mixed in with the ice, and you can already start to see some of it's melting, and all of this dirt that's melting off of it is running out away. And this is forming our comet's tail. Now we can think about what would happen when we took this comet and smashed it into a surface, like a planet. So let's go outside and smash it into the ground to sort of see that effect. Wow, that was so cool. Did you see what happened when the comet hit the surface of the ground? How all of those pieces of ice scattered everywhere? Just think about what would happen if a real comet hit the surface of a planet. What a huge impact that would have on the planet. So now that we learned a little bit more about a really cool part of space, comets, let's think back to Mae Jemison. Growing up, she did not have any astronaut to look up to that looked like her. Why does representation in science, having someone to look up to that looks like you, why does that matter? Let's turn now to my friend Katie to talk about this a little more.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie. Today we've learned about an astronaut with an inspiring story and did an experiment about what comets are made of. Now, let's dive deeper into Jemison's experiences with representation in the field she wanted to pursue, as well as in the media that she consumed. Then, let's reflect on our own experiences. Unfortunately, many people don't grow up seeing people who look like them in the fields they're interested in, or in mainstream media, or the way in which they are represented is based on negative stereotypes, rather than a positive, empowering message that attempts to actually portray the complexity of those characters and their experiences in the world. Studies have shown that these portrayals can have a negative impact on how one views oneself, as well as how others view people who look like them. Jemison grew up watching the Apollo airings on TV, but she was often upset that there were no female astronauts. However, Jemison was inspired by African-American actress Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura on the Star Trek television show. It is important to see ourselves in media, as well as to have positive exposure to diverse cultures in the media that we consume. Today we're going to reflect on our experiences with media and representation. What is your favorite TV show you watch on a regular basis? Does it have characters that you can relate to? Does it have characters who look like you or who have similar backgrounds to you? What about your favorite movie? Your favorite book? If you answered yes to all those questions, great. If you answered no, I want to emphasize that you are not alone in that feeling or experience. It is not a reflection of who you are or your worth, but rather a problem within society and the media itself. Here are some shows that have diverse representations of people in STEM fields for various ages that everyone should check out, including the episode of Star Trek that Mae Jemison starred in. Also, linked below, you will find resources for tons of TV shows, books, and movies that are created by or focus on characters of various identities and backgrounds. Just because you don't see people who represent you in the field that you're interested in or in the media you consume doesn't mean that you aren't able to pursue that job, career, or passion. It might be difficult, and there might be barriers and challenges that you encounter, but I want to let you know that you can shoot for the stars, and the sky is the limit as to what you're able to achieve. Always feel free to reach out to us here at Boundless Brilliance, and we will do our best to connect you with resources and organizations to support you pursuing your dreams. Thanks for watching today, and make sure to check out the resources down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more. I want to end this video by reading one last quote from Mae Jemison. Once I got into space, I was feeling very comfortable in the universe. I felt like I had a right to be anywhere in this universe, that I belonged here as much as any speck of stardust, any comet, any planet. We are all brilliant. Thanks everyone. Bye.